Welcome to Daniel's Inferno. My name is Daniel. Thank you for joining me today. If you have a moment, please like, subscribe, share, join the conversation below. I'd love to hear from you. So today's video, we are actually going to be talking about Tommy Robinson. And for those of you who don't know, Tommy Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley-Lennon, um, he's Tommy Robinson. So as you see on your screen here, he flees abroad claiming his family is no longer safe in the UK following, quote, arson. He is quoted as saying, I need my family to be away because they are not safe. Well, that's a little disconcerting to hear. Regardless of how you may feel about the individual or his political beliefs or anything like that, uh, any sort of threats of violence towards him, his kids, his family, his well-being and their well-being is unacceptable on any level. It, you know, if he's spouting illegal things, if he's doing something that breaks the law, then the law is the force that needs to be brought, not this violence, this quid pro quo type of you did this, so now you get this. Tommy Robinson says he's gone abroad and is seeking to relocate. A video circulated on social media shows Mr. Robinson discussing an arson, quote, incident several weeks ago. It was targeted against my wife's property, he said. At that point, we left the country straight away, and I'm looking at relocating my family, which is pretty hard to do, especially with the virus. I couldn't even get a hotel. During the video, Mr. Robinson, oh look here, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley-Lennon. I love how they always put that in there, like it's like a boogeyman type of thing. Refers to a recently imposed 14-day quarantine, leading to speculation he may be in Spain. I will point this out, like other people are. It is a little ironic how anti-immigration he's been, and now here he is immigrating. However, you can just see this as him growing as a person in terms of his expanding perspective. And, I think that perspective probably could have been expanded in a way that did not need violence towards his wife and potentially his children. The former EDL leader, I just want to say, by the way, they always mention how he was the former EDL leader, and the EDL, for those of you who don't know, is the English Defense League. He was in his 20s, all right? His cousin was apparently a victim of a grooming gang, and I believe it was after that incident that he started the EDL. Now, he regrets most, if not all, of the things that happened during the EDL, but I think, the kind of the spirit behind why he founded the EDL has kind of motivated him to the point he's at now. Um, and no one here I'm denouncing violence. So obviously violence on any side against people, it's wrong. So when he was part of the EDL and the EDL had some pretty shady or violent tactics, and there were some racist things going on, and a lot of really negative uh, history attached with it, and it's thrown in his face. And I mean, it was wrong. He has tried to be a better or different person, at least from then. And he's changed his tactics, his tone. He's been to jail before, I think 2 times now. So obviously, if he does something wrong, then he gets the consequences of it. And that's exactly how it should be. And I'm a fan of Tommy Robinson. I'll say that now. But that doesn't mean I think he's impervious or immune to consequences if there are consequences due for his actions. But again, that does not equate to violent attacks against him, his family, you know, in whatever form they may be. And in this case, it's arson. So he drove to where he is staying now and will not be returning to the UK for a planned demonstration this weekend. He said, obviously, my wife has had enough of everything. Someone gave her somewhere to stay, so we left the country, and I was due to be flying back for the demonstration. But now with this 14-day quarantine, I probably won't get back out, and my kids are out here. He has sorted out new schools for his daughters, adding, I'm still in the process of finding a permanent relocation for them. I need my family to be away because they are not safe, basically. He claimed the alleged incident took place following his comments denouncing the BLM protest sparked by the death of George Floyd in the U.S. Last month, the Democratic Football Lads Alliance called on supporters to travel to London to protect, monuments after some were vandalized during recent protests. Mr. Robertson expressed his support for that action. Now, I don't know what's so wrong about him supporting the protecting of monuments. I personally support the protecting of monuments because going and using violence via your own attempt to vitiate history, that's not the right way to go about it. And, you need to vote, obviously, whether or not these statues are to be taken down. And whether the majority agrees with that or not is at the ballot box. It's not, going over there, roping it and ripping it down. So I personally also support the protecting of monuments. I also did a video on violence or hypocrisy, you could say, that is within the BLM movement, which is not to denounce the spirit or the idea of Black Lives Matter. Clearly they matter. But even the people who were originally kind of spearheading the Black Lives Matter, many of them have left now because they say it has been bogarted by radical leftists and Marxists. And I've heard that directly from people who were going to BLM protests and aren't now. I read an article about the people who were spearheading it and decided to leave. So to denounce it, I think, if given the chance, he probably wasn't denouncing the spirit or idea. I think he was more denouncing the violence and the methodology that was being used at the time. And again, we should all be allowed to hold our different opinions without it causing us throwing bombs at each other, throwing fire containers, whatever, at each other. And I mean, if this wasn't bad enough, right? You know, okay, so this is pretty bad. Bad things happen to people. He got out of there, he's with his family, they're safe. Okay, that's good to hear. Well, then you see about how a YouTuber threatened to, quote, cut off the EDL founder Tommy Robinson's head and ranted about Prince William in videos recorded in his bedroom. What? You may be thinking. I know. Now, for people who do follow Tommy, you probably have seen it already, but for those of you who haven't, Tommy actually did a video where I'm pretty sure he went face to face and he confronted this individual, and it was found out that the individual actually needed like psychiatric help. And at the end of the day, that's what Tommy was telling the police officers and the authorities that were there when the authorities ended up showing up, is that he wasn't actually a bad kid. He just needed some psychiatric and mental help, and he reads all this stuff in the media, and when he actually got the chance to talk to Tommy, there was a different spirit or a different tone about it all, and there was at least a partial understanding of where one another were coming from. So Muhammad Abdul Basir, and as you can see, that's public record. 24 is accused of posting the threatening videos online. He talks about assaulting Tommy Robinson. He denied stalking and racially aggravated harassment in court today. Well, that's all sounds pretty terrible. So he appeared in court today. So he's from South London and Mitcham, posted a series of videos last year where he talked about beating up and assaulting Mr. Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley-Lennon. I love that. He appeared to have filmed the videos in his bedroom, also mentioned Prince William. Uh, During the short hearing, he was described as having certain vulnerabilities by his defense, denied stalking and racially aggravated harassment. Uh, he heard how he lives with his parents, and he talked about beating up and assaulting, as we said. So, prosecutor told the court that on September 18 last year, police became aware of an anonymous referral regarding to a series of videos posted on YouTube by the defendant. The defendant is seen filming himself in what appears to be his bedroom. The court heard there were further video posts of similar nature regarding Mr. Robinson. The defendant's lawyer told the court there was a police bail condition regarding video postings naming Prince William, but there are no charges regarding those. He is charged with stalking Mr. Robinson between September 13 and 18 last year, um, and he posted the videos on September 14 to 16. He is also charged with racially aggravated harassment. He was bailed to appear before Kingston upon Thames Court Crown on August 13 on the condition that he resides at his home address, does not contact Mr. Robinson, and does not post material about the former EDL leader. So you think it's bad enough when your wife, your family is under threat by these radical, insane individuals, regardless of what their political persuasion may be. They're throwing firebombs at property. That's dangerous. Now we have this individual, probably mentally unstable, posting videos about assaulting and trying to murder Tommy Robinson. I wouldn't feel safe either. Now, that's not to say that Tommy hasn't made a bit of a reputation for himself to be a bit of a scrapper, you know, but it's more, in my opinion, the culture in where he was brought up. If anyone knows anything about Luton, then you'd understand at least a little bit of where he's coming from. And if you understand anything about the grooming gang issue in the UK, then you understand why, at least partially, you understand why Tommy was so fervent to, you know, jump up, rush to the defense of these girls who were being attacked by these grooming gangs, and, you know, how he felt that any means necessary at the time. And again, he did a lot of things that were wrong. People change, people grow, people do not deserve firebombs thrown at their property. Let me know what you think. Maybe my viewers think that people should have firebombs thrown at their property. I mean, I personally think that we need evidence, the court of law, a jury of our peers. You know, the system that we currently have set up is the best iteration of what we've had. And again, trying to vitiate people like the media has done to Tommy, which there has been almost, if no positive press coverage on Tommy Robinson. Um, and again, he's done things that are bad, but he's also done things that are good, and those are often overlooked. And, you know, he's had a lot of bad things happen. You know, his daughter claimed to have been uh, maybe, I don't want to say the word, but molested or at least fondled at a public swimming pool by these three uh, kind of in their older 20s to 30s, maybe close to middle-aged men who were by themselves. And I mean, why would she make that up? Where would that come from? I saw the video. I know the signs. I lived that reality. It seemed very real to me. It did not seem fake. It did not seem phony. So I mean, Tommy has gone through quite a lot. So it makes sense to me he doesn't feel safe. Again, on one hand, I understand the character and the persona that he's built for himself and how again, he's a scrapper. he's a fighter. And, he opens his mouth and sometimes he puts his foot in his mouth, or sometimes he acts before he thinks. But I don't think any of this is deserved. I wish Tommy and his family well. I hope he continues the good fight against the grooming gangs. I hope that his law proceedings concerning this YouTuber and the potential law proceedings against what I just mentioned with his daughter, because that is a potential he mentioned could potentially be a thing. Um, you know, we'll see, and I wish him well in those endeavors because uh, I feel like they are pure, just, and right endeavors. Again, let me know what you think down in the comments. Am I wrong? Am I delusional? Is Tommy Robinson just some nut job? And I just have this uh, this this way of twisting the things he does to make it look good. I mean, last thought, but Kalen Robertson, sorry, his old cameraman, he had a big long post about how he had worked with Tommy for so many years and made him very popular and was his editor and helped him do a lot of things. And then, saw a side of him, or there was a falling out, and he started to realize that what he was following was what he said was like some sort of cultist or bad ideology. Um, so I mean, I've tried to be fair by getting a well-rounded and well-versed perspective on Tommy Robinson. I mean, I've been following him, Nigel Farage, the grooming gang stuff, and uh, Brexit, the idea of Brexit or an independent UK, since I started high school, really. Is when I first heard about both Nigel Farage and Tommy Robinson. And again, let me know what you think. Am I delusional? Am I wrong? Am I giving him a pass on too many things? Um, I'd love your opinions. Stay safe out there, everyone. I'm Daniel's Inferno. Have a nice day.